Bro, they took our seats.
Oh! Come on, just grab seats, brother. You
Yeah. Okay, good. We're going to have a very friendly, robust discussion today. We're going to talk about unity. That's our subject for today. Unity. Put it in your brain and think about, maybe you want to give me a definition of what unity means to you. Set that in the middle, Michael, so they can look at that. Because this drum here is a unity drum. I'm going to give you a little history on it so you can understand why this drum is a unity drum. So let me just kind of set up and get ready. I brought two very young men with me whose lives have been transformed by these drums. And I will let them tell you a little bit about their unifying trip that they had going to Africa, going to Guinea, the poorest country in the world, one of the poorest countries in the world, and how they had to survive by relying on each other in Guinea, a foreign country. So we have a pretty good discussion going on today for you. Oh yeah, is that a beautiful drum? This wood, is this Dinka?
That is bala wood.
This is bala wood. All of this wood comes from a sacred forest. These drums are very important. It was a leader. He wasn't a leader at the time, but he was going to be the leader. He was going to be the first king of Mali. His name was Sundiata Keita. Remember that name, Sundiata Keita, the Lion King of Mali. So his story was taken and cartooned out here in America because they made a movie that wasn't really about him, but they borrowed from his story, which was called The Lion King. And you know, The Lion King is everywhere right now. But the true story of The Lion King is Sundiata Keita. And Sundiata Keita was the first king of Mali. He was a cripple. His mother had to live outside of the community because her son was a cripple. So as he got older, his limbs kind of straightened out. The mother had a medicine man come to help her son, who was crippled, become strong, and his limbs became straight. He came back to the capital and claimed his throne. But this was given to him as a gift from the Baga people. The Baga people gave him this drum as he was assuming his leadership as the king of Mali. This drum, he said, would be the unity drum because the drum is circular. And he wanted to unify all of the tribes of his country so that he would have a unified country. So this instrument right here became the symbol of unity because he turned his country into one of the richest countries in all of Africa. The richest man in the history of the world came from this country. Do you know his name? Come on, man. Like this kid right here. You have to know your story. Mansa Musa was the richest man in the world. He came from Mali. He was so rich everywhere he went, he affected the economy because he had so much gold. He sent 200 ships. His brother, Abubakar, right, came with 200 ships and nobody's seen him again. But his ships ended up in the Gulf of Mexico. And then his brother, which was,
I forgot his name.
well, no, Mansa Musa, the king, he left and got on a ship, 200 ships, and came to the Gulf of Mexico. Why did they come to Mexico? There was already a black culture in Mexico. You know which one that was? Olmecs. Remember the Olmecs? The Olmecs are these super black head that they discovered in Mexico because around 900 BC, you had a black culture in Mexico. Coming up and down from Mexico all through California. We had black enclaves where black people lived like Allensworth, like Val Verde. San Diego was founded by black people. Los Angeles was founded by black people. San Francisco was founded by black people. San Jose was founded by black people. You have to really have a sense of organization and unity to do these type of things. It's only when we come out of sorts, when we start infighting, fighting against ourselves, that we start to embrace problems. You only win when you respect yourself. You only win when you recognize who you are and where you are. That's how you get the strength out of yourself. Where am I at? Who am I around? And what do I have to do to empower myself in any situation that you may find yourself in? Is with knowledge. Knowledge cancels out fear. If you have knowledge, say you scared of water, then you know a bathtub you can drown in. But if you don't have fear, you know how to swim, then water don't scare you. If you have knowledge, it cancels out fear. I say that again. Knowledge cancels out fear. That is why it's incumbent upon you to learn and put as much knowledge in your head to defend yourselves. Because knowledge is power. Unity is the act or the quality of being one. I'm not saying there's a lot of individuals in here, but when we start talking about unity, we're talking about being one, of one mind, of one movement. And that becomes very important when you live in a very hostile environment. And the environment we live in here in Los Angeles, to me, is a hostile environment. Because the laws don't support what we have to go through, what our children have to go through. So unity is a tool that you have to learn to use to your benefit. The moment you don't use unity as a tool to build, then you destroy yourself. When you think about what your ancestors had to go through in order for you to be here, it's a lot of blood, it's a lot of agony, it's a lot of despair. But unity is what resolved us and kept us together, was unity. And we have one outstanding feature that lets everybody know who we are, which is when you look at us, our skin is black. And all other men and women come out of this blackness. Black women were the mothers of creation. First humans evolved, came out of a black woman. That's very important. Because what we get when we see today, when we see the attack on our women, we know that when you attack the woman, that is the center of your culture. That's the center, that's everything. Mama is everything because she gives us life and she supports the life and she teaches the life. Unity is critical. So if you don't have a man, woman in the house working together, then you don't have unity. If you have the mother and father working together, then the child comes up in a unified household, which is what all of you have. Because for your parents to send you to this particular school, this Marcus Garvey school, you could have been going to another public school that don't teach or share information about who you are. They might glance over it, they might say a couple of words about it, but it's actually your story that is the greatest story that's never told, that has never been told. We don't know all of the great things that our ancestors have done. It's just too much what they had to experience and go through for you to be here today. So let's get on a unity vibe, clap vibe. We're going to do some hand vibes. You take this side, Michael, you take that side. And put them on a soul clap so we can get our energy up, get the vibes going. We need some unity right now. Go on, take that side, Quasi. Let him get going.
Okay, so my side right here, we're going to just clap 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
And you do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Come on.
Right. Okay, change part. Okay,
That was good.
okay. This part can start back again. This part need to change.
Okay, let's start it again. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Clap, clap. 1, 2, 3. Clap. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, this is Tony Wing. Nice, sounds good. Now try it. Keep going, keep going. Clap, 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 clap. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Together. You hear how the music has come together?
Here.
This side, that side.
Hey. There's only two perfect sciences. There's only two perfect sciences. Does anybody know what the two perfect sciences are? There's only two perfect sciences in this whole academic world. Can you tell me the two perfect sciences? One is music. Music is perfect. If you don't play exactly the notes you are supposed to play, music don't come out right. Music is a perfect science. And math. Two perfect sciences. Math and music go together. If your math formulas are incorrect, you're never going to get the answer. Two perfect sciences. Math and music. And they're very important to you. Because without those, you cannot grow. So, these two young men, who from the same streets that we walk in Los Angeles, they from Los Angeles, took a journey to Guinea, Conakry, which is one of the poorest countries in the world, to study this master science, music. They wanted to study the mystics of West African drum folklore. They went there by themselves. They only had each other. So if you don't cooperate with each other, if they did not work with each other, they would have had some really serious problems, because they had to have a unified presence while they was in Guinea in order to get the information. Are you with me?
Yes.
Quasi, tell them a little bit about your experience in Guinea and show the unifying connection that you picked up when you went to Guinea. Quasi Williams, go on, talk to him.
Okay, so yes, we were in Guinea. It was very beautiful, very much unity out there in Guinea. We saw a lot of different drummers, and there's a very large community of people, and everybody, knows each other, supports each other, just like you talked about the unity. And like you said, me and Michael was there together. We worked together. We make sure we got food. Just all these beautiful things.
Did you know the language?
We learned a lot of language, yes.
But you did not know the language when you went there.
No. And they taught us, different sounds, even things about the sticks. They said this is, they give us different names, from the language and the culture. And when we do the classes, we come together, we unify through the music, we make good sounds together, and try and make sure that everybody is on the same page. If we get in learning information, we working together trying to find out, did you get all the answers? Did you get all the phrases? Did you get all the information? So yeah, and then Guinea is a very beautiful place. Okay, they say it's poor, but it's just it's more earthy and more rural, but it's very down to earth, if you will. So yeah, Guinea was great. Want to say? You
got something to say, young Mike?
Yeah, I'll just say a couple words. Hello, Michael, for the class. We were in Guinea. That's one of the poorest countries in Africa, on the west side of Africa. We were there for 3 months, and we studied basically only these 3 drums right here and these 2 right here. We studied those for 3 months, night out. All they did was feed us, take care of us, teach us the language. They speak French out there because they got
colonial masters from France.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, they speak their native language, which was Susu, but they also speak French. So we learned both languages. We got to eat their food. We got to learn how they set up these drums, how they put these skins and put all the ropes on here to make our sounds. And we learned how to stay together and stay unified when we're playing these rhythms, because these rhythms, we're all playing different parts. We're all doing something different, but we all have to lock in at the same time and listen and go together as a unit. Mm-hmm. So the way that they do that is different from the way people do that out here in America. So we got to see how some of the poorest people do it, and yeah, it was very eye-opening. So that's all I have to say.
And one more. They have a word called wantanara. Wantanara means together we are strong. So they were in Guinea. They're very mindful of being unified. If we doing this music and we're not always together, the ship is going to sink. Okay. So the word is wantanara. Everybody say wantanara.
Wantanara.
Okay. That means together we are strong. That's unity.
So one of our first ancestors here that gave us a great necessary invention was Benjamin Banneker. Benjamin Banneker was the brother that designed the first striking clock in America. The ability to be able to tell time. Because if you don't know how to tell time, you don't know where you're at. But this black genius from Mali, Banneker, we kind of tracked him. He has a little room at the White House where his tools are still there because he was such a genius black man. He invented the first striking clock, and he also gave us the first almanac. Does anybody know what an almanac is? Come on, you could be, if you don't know what an almanac is, yes.
Is it like a type of newspaper?
Almost. It's like an almanac is a book that tells you where the moon is at. It tells you where the phases of the moon is at, so you can plant your seed and they will grow. Benjamin Banneker is very important because you cannot grow crops if you don't know where the moon is at. Very important brother, Benjamin Banneker. So don't forget him. Unity is something that if you do not have, it will keep your life very confused. You need organization. Unity and organization are very similar. They're very close to each other. Because the more you organize your life, the more unified you become. If you have a problem with, say, another individual, because we live in a small black village, LA is a big town, but it's still very small. We all live in like segregated communities. You don't see a lot of black people living. We live all over the city, but collectively, our community, which has been gentrified, and a lot of foreign people that's come into our community is not really the same as it used to be. It's not as unified as it used to be. For an example, in 1976, The Coliseum. Everybody know where the Coliseum is at?
Yeah.
We had an artist come there by the name of Isaac Hayes. And Isaac Hayes, when he came to the stage, he was dressed in chains like Black Moses. It was 100,000 black people that filled up the Coliseum. 100,000. That was a strong symbol of unity. There was 1 million black people that lived in Los Angeles in 1976. And we had a black mayor, Tom Bradley. So that moment of just unity and power, we lost that. And decades after that, our communities shrunk. The cost of everything went up in our community. So a lot of black people left California because of the cost of living. Because we couldn't keep a unified continuity of our community. Because anybody can come into the black community and live. Anybody. You could be from Vietnam, you could be from the Philippines, but when you first came here, our community was the community that you moved to. So, without unity, anything can happen to you. But when you're unified, the best things happen to you. The best things happen for you. If you get into, say, you see somebody's against you, or somebody's bullying you, or somebody wants to fight you, or you get into a fight. Fighting, what that does, that shrinks up our army. If we're fighting inside of the ranks with each other, our line is weaker. You're only as strong as the person that's next to you. And if that person next to you don't believe in you or doesn't like you, then that weakens our front line. Our unity is not as strong. So what y'all are facing and what we're going to talk about today is what aspects of unity can you share that would help the person next to you? Will help, somebody in your community, in your neighborhood. So I want to open up the floor now and want you to give me an example of how unity has empowered your life, in which way. Anyone, the floor is open. What example? Yes, young man. What's your name? This is our little village. We down by the riverside. Imagine being on a plantation, and you working for this big white slave owner that owns all of your people. We get together by the lakeside. Some brother will come through the plantation to inform us, to tell us what's really going on, and give us information that would help us. From that time till now, it's always been somebody that is thinking how we can free ourselves from the bondages of slavery. What did you have to say, young man?
I was going to say unity has impacted my life because when I have friends, we always are talking and staying together, and if somebody's messing with us, all of us are going to come together and talk about it, and we're not going to be bad about it.
You're going to defend each other. You're going to stay together. You're not going to let nothing come in between y'all. That's a very good example. Anyone else have any examples of unity that you can share with me? Unity is everywhere. Just open your head and give me an example of what unity looks like to you. What would unity look like to any of you in this room?
Now, I know since y'all being shy, I'm going to say what unity means to me. What we see going on right now in Africa, especially in the Sahel nations, where we're talking about and Mali and Niger all coming together and saying we're going to be unified, and we don't care who cares about this. We kick the French out, and we're going to be in unison. And also, one thing I'm going to say on that, tomorrow, April 30th, is actually talks about unity all around Africa. You're going to see African people coming together in unison to support Brother Traore And so
Yes.
that's a
Ibrahim
form.
Traore.
Yeah.
That's a very important young man.
Malcolm will say on that.
Here's a young man who took over Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is right on top of Ghana. If you know your 50 African nations, you would know Burkina Faso is just Ghana. And this leader, young man in his 30s, has taken over the country for the good. He quit taking money from the French, Niger, Senegal, Mali, Guinea's trying. But France was giving all this old money that they didn't even use to these poor African countries. This young black man said, no, we don't even want your money. They started minting their own gold, started making their own vehicles or their farm equipment. So he's empowering his people. This is a great act of unity when you can come together to save your people from people who are eating off of the flesh of your citizens. They deny us and give us old everything, nothing new. So this leader, Ibrahim Traore, keep your eye on him. He's a very important young man. Many attempts have been made on his life because when you try to unify people that's been oppressed, you're going to get a fight. You're going to get a fight. But what we share in these rooms, you take with you. And as you grow older, you remember and you try to connect with the people and the things that empowered you. You can go to any of these other schools out here. None of them can touch Marcus Garvey. Because right now, they don't want your story to be told. Because your story, like I told you, is the greatest story never told. Ain't nobody going to tell your story. Ain't nobody going to tell you what your great-grandmother did to keep the oppressor off of her, to keep her from being exploited, keep her children from being exploited. There are things that have happened. They have wiped out so many cities that black people have tried to build for themselves. Everybody knows about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and knows that was a Black Wall Street. That's what they called it, because it was 50 square blocks of black businesses. And the Europeans didn't like it. And you can go there today. They drove a freeway through it. They killed over 300 black people, dropped an incendiary device on their businesses, burnt everything to the ground, and killed over 300 black people. But that's common. You can go to Florida. You can go to Louisiana, Georgia, Mississippi. You can go to Chicago, New York. There are stories there where they have burnt down communities where black people have lived to empower themselves so that we can come up, so we can have something for ourselves. They didn't want that. All our communities have been burnt down. And you got those smartphones, go look at black massacres. And you will see just a plethora of cities that come up, counties that come up where they have burnt black people out for just trying to survive and have a unified existence, live well amongst one another. It's important that you know that without unity, we can go nowhere. None of y'all can do anything if you don't have the support of each other. Your story is not being told. They're burning books right now of your story. So if you don't understand the importance of your story, because you inherit tomorrow. So if you're not unified, if you don't like somebody, it's okay. Everybody's not meant to like each other like that, but you must respect each other because we have many challenges outside of these rooms. Once you leave these rooms, there are many challenges that go on. That's why I came today, so we could drum a little bit, talk a little bit, dance a little bit, have a little fun, open up our heads a little bit. What does unity mean to you, young man? Yes. What does unity mean to you?
It means to stick together and work together. To me.
What would that look like?
All the black people coming together in one spot to work together.
Oh, okay, let's just say it like this. they're having a boycott right now. Certain days out of the week, they want us to not spend money with corporations that don't respect DEI, or is not trying to be fair to black people. So black people said, okay, on Wednesday, we don't shop at Walmart. On Wednesday, we don't shop at Costco. We don't shop at Walmart. That's economic power now. Now you're saying, we're not going to take our money and go spend it with you because you don't respect, diversity, inclusion, and equity. Y'all not with that. So I can't spend my money with you. We spend $1.1 trillion as black people. That's the 11th most richest spending entity in the country. If we were a country, we would be the 11th richest country. But because we're not, our money it just goes out, but it doesn't come back. So we enrich all of these corporations with giving them our wealth, our money, because we don't have the infrastructure in our community to support our own businesses. That is why I'm speaking to you today, because it's important, because tomorrow belongs to you. Any words on unity? Anyone have any words on unity? How it can empower you, how it can organize you, how it can support the very life that we live. Yes, young man. What's your name?
Asar.
Okay, Asar. I love your name, Asar.
Thank you. To encourage people, bring each other up with you, and to be one.
To be one, which is a very difficult thing. Most people are taught, to be the individual that you are. We understand that. Everyone has their own individuality. But as a group, you have to show unity. If you out there and y'all are, cursing and talking bad to each other, that's not very unifying. If y'all mimicking each other and clowning each other, that's not very empowering. You only empower each other when you unify, when you strengthen up and you share your experiences together. That's when you empower yourself. That's when we know that things are working, when we can come together as a unit, as one.